A high-powered businesswoman was interviewed, and she said she was too busy. She didn't have the time. Looking at your vagina, she said, is a full day's work. You have to get down there on your back in front of a mirror that's standing on its own, full length preferred. You've got to get in the perfect position with the perfect light, which then is shadowed somehow by the mirror or the angle that you're at. You get all twisted up. You're arching your head, you're killing your back. You're exhausted by then. She said she didn't have time for that. She was busy.
Okay. At first, women were reluctant to talk. They were a little shy. But once they got going, you couldn't stop them. Women secretly love to talk about their vaginas. They get very excited, mainly because no one's ever asked them before.
Let's just start with the word vagina. It sounds like an infection at best. Or maybe a medical instrument? Hurry, nurse! Bring me the vagina! It's a totally ridiculous, completely unsexy word. If you use it during sex, trying to be politically correct, darling, would you stroke my vagina? You ruined the act right there. So, when we went home this time, he got to shave my vagina. Yeah, he nicked it a couple times and there was even blood in the bathtub. Yeah, but you know what? He didn't even notice. He was so happy to be shaving me. I realized then that hair is there for a reason. You know, it's the leaf around the flower. It's the lawn around the house. You have to love hair in order to love the vagina. You cannot pick the parts you want. And you know, besides, that husband of mine, he never stopped screwing around. It doesn't matter anyway. I discovered waxing.
And the blood would come straight from down there. It would pour out of me. It would pour and pour. There would be fish inside of it. And little boats. And the whole restaurant would fill with my flood. You asked me what it would wear? What kind of a question is that? What would it wear? It would wear a big sign, closed due to flooding. What would it say? I told you, it's not like that. It's not like a person who speaks. It stopped being a thing that talked a long time ago. It's a place you don't go. It's closed up under the house. It's down there. You happy?
We were there, the group of us women, on our backs, on our mats, searching for our spots, our locus, our reason. And I don't know why, but I started crying. Maybe it was sheer embarrassment. Maybe it was knowing that I had to give up the fantasy, the enormous, life-consuming fantasy that someone or something was going to do this for me. The fantasy that someone was coming to lead my life, to choose direction, to give me orgasms. This clitoris finding, this wild workshop on our shiny blue mats was making the whole thing real. Too real. I could feel the panic coming, the simultaneous terror and realization that I had avoided finding my clitoris because I was, in fact, terrified that I did not have a clitoris. There was a little quivering at first, which urged me to stay. The quivering turned into a quake, an eruption, the layers dividing and subdividing. The quaking turned into an ancient horizon of light and silence, which broke open onto a plane of music and colors and innocence and longing, and I felt connection, calling connection as I lay there thrashing about on my little blue mat.
In order to survive,
I would pretend there was something else between my legs, like furniture. A soft futon, cozy comforter, velvet settee, or something pretty like a silk handkerchief or a crocheted place setting. I got so accustomed to it that I lost all memory of having a vagina. Whenever a man was inside of me, I pictured him inside a mink-lined muffler or a Chinese bowl. And I would have missed him altogether if he hadn't picked up the change that I dropped on the deli floor. As he handed me my quarters and my pennies and his hand accidentally touched mine, something happened. I went to bed with him. But that's where the miracle occurred. Turns out Bob loved vaginas. He was a connoisseur. He loved the way they felt, the way they smelled, the way they tasted, but most importantly, he loved the way they looked. I held my breath. He looked, and he looked, and he got breathy, and his face changed. He didn't look ordinary anymore. He looked like a hungry beast. You are so beautiful. You are innocent and deep and elegant and wild. You saw that there? I said, it's as though he read my palm. I saw that and much, much more. He stayed looking for about an hour, as though he was studying a map or observing the moon or looking in my eyes, but it was my vagina. In the light, I watched him, and he was genuinely excited and peaceful and euphoric. I began to get wet and turned on. I began to love my vagina. Bob was there, and I was there with him, in my vagina. And we were gone.
This is a not-so-happy fact, found in the New York Times, May 2019. Female genital mutilation has been inflicted on approximately 200 million girls and young women alive today. In countries where it is practiced, mostly in Africa, about 2 million youngsters a year can expect the knife, or the razor, or a glass shard to cut their clitoris or remove it altogether. In a man, it would range from amputation of most of the penis to removal of all of the penis. Short-term results include tetanus, hemorrhages, cuts in the urethra, bladder, and vaginal walls. Long-term, chronic uterine infection, increased agony and danger during childbirth, and early deaths.
Heard that he was out with a woman making love and she was fluffing his hair while he was wild on top of her. He came home much later and his hair was braided up all right and tight. He passed out from drinking. Then I got up with the scissors and I slowly walked to him as he snored, and I cut the braid off, completely off, and put it in his hand so that when he woke up he screamed, "What the fuck, I am going to kill you!" And he jumped up, but I had tied his shoes together so he couldn't run. I didn't go back to him for 3 years until I knew his hair had grown out again. My husband beat the shit out of me. He wrapped my long black hair around his hand, jerked my head. I tried to get my son. "That's not your son," he said. "That's not your son anymore." They took our land. They took our ways. They took our men. We want them back.
My vagina, alive, wet, Water Village. My vagina, my hometown. Not since they took turns for 7 days smelling like feces and smoked meat. They left their dirty sperm inside me. I became a river of poison and pus, and all the crops died, and the fish. My vagina, alive, Wait. Walter Village. They invaded it, butchered it, and burned it down. I do not touch now. Do not visit. I live someplace else now. I don't know where that is.
My vagina's angry. It is. It's pissed off. My vagina is furious and it needs to talk. It needs to talk about all this shit. It needs to talk to you. I mean, what's the deal? An army of people thinking up ways to torture my poor ass loving gentle vagina? Spending their days constructing psycho products and nasty ideas to undermine my pussy? Vagina motherfuckers! Like tampons, what the hell is that? A wad of dry fucking cotton stuffed up there. Why can't they find a way to subtly lubricate the tampon? As soon as my vagina sees it, it goes into shock. It says forget about it. It closes up. You need to work with the vagina, introduce it to things, prepare the way. That's what foreplay is all about. You got to convince my vagina, seduce my vagina, engage my vagina's trust. You can't do that with a dry wad of fucking cotton. It wants to scream. It wants to stop being angry. It wants to come. It wants to whine. It wants my vagina. Well, it wants everything.
Memory. 7 years old. Edgar Montaigne, who was 10, gets angry at me and punches me with all his might between my legs. It feels like it breaks my entire self. I limp home and I can't pee. My mama asks me, what's wrong with my coochie snorcher? And when I tell her what Edgar did to me, she yells at me and says to never let anyone touch me down there again. I tried to explain that he didn't touch it, Mama. He punched it. Memory. 9 years old. I play on the bed, bouncing and falling and impale my coochie snorcher on the bedpost. I make high-pitched screaming noises that come straight from my coochie snorcher's mouth. I get taken to the hospital and they sew it up down there from where it's been torn apart. My coochie snorcher is a very bad place. A place of pain, nastiness, punching, invasion, and blood. It's a site for mishaps. It's a bad luck zone. I imagine a freeway between my legs and I'm traveling, going far away from here.
I was there later, and I just turned and faced her vagina. I stood and let myself see her all spread, completely exposed, mutilated and torn, swollen, bleeding all over the doctor's hands as he was calmly sewing her there. I stood and suddenly the vagina became a wide, red, pulsating heart. The heart is capable of sacrifice. So is the vagina. The heart is able to forgive and repair. It can change its shape and let us in. It can expand and let us out. So can the vagina. It can ache for us and stretch for us and die for us and bleed us into this difficult, wondrous world. I was there, in the room. I remember.
Cunt. Cavern, cackle, clicked, cute. Come closed, closed, inside, inside. Then soft, warm, and then tea, then sharp, certain, tangy tea. Texture, tent, tight, tantalizing, tensing taste. Tendrils, time, tactile. Tell me, cunt, say it, cunt. Woo!
in tax law. I mean, there were no props, there was no excitement, but mainly, there was no moaning. Well, I mean, at least not the kind we're talking about tonight. And then I realized right then and there that moaning and moans are not connected with, well, they're connected with not getting what you want right away, right? With putting things off. I realized that moans were best when they caught you by surprise, right? When they came out of this hidden, mysterious part of you that was speaking its own language. In fact, the moans were the language. So, I became a moaner. Oh no, don't laugh. It made most men very anxious. It did. Frankly, it terrified them. I mean, I was loud and they couldn't concentrate on what they were doing. They'd lose their focus. And then, of course, they'd lose everything. I mean, we couldn't make love in people's homes, and the walls were too thin, and I got a reputation in my building, and people would look at me with contempt in the elevator, for God's sake. Men thought I was too intense, and some even thought I was insane. And then I discovered women. Oh. I discovered that most women loved my moaning. But more importantly, I discovered how deeply excited I got when other women moaned, even when I was responsible for making other women moan. Sometimes I used force, not violent force, but, you know, more dominating, like I'm gonna take you now, and you're gonna lay back, and you're gonna enjoy this. Sometimes it was simply mundane. You know, I found the moan before things even got started, like while we were eating salad. Chicken. You know, I just sneak up right behind him with my finger and, oh, got it, there it is. All be mixed up, you know, with the balsamic vinegar. And I would watch. And I would wait. And I wouldn't be fooled by some minor little moan. Oh, no, no, no. I would wait until they found their power moan. There's the clit moan. Ah, ah. There's the vaginal moan. Oh. There's the combo clit vaginal moan. Ah, ah. Oh. There's the almost moan.
Oh, you're done? Great.
There's the right on it moan.
Oh yeah.
There's the elegant moan. Oh, yes, darling. As opposed to the Grace Slick moan. Yeah! Oh. There's the wasp moan.
Sorry, that was so inappropriate.
There's the Jewish moan.
Oh, no, no, no. Oh!
There's the Irish Catholic moan.
Jesus. Mary!
Joseph! There's the black moan.
Oh shit! Yo.
There's the mountaintop moan.
Oh, 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 oh.
There's the college moan.
Minus.
There's the doggy moan. There's the uninhibited, militant, bisexual moan.
Oh shit, yes!
There's the tortured Zen moan. there is the diva moan.
Red leg!
Never want to stop that one. And then there's the surprise triple orgasm.
These monologues do more than share the experiences of women from all over. Varying from horrific to liberating, they highlight the urgent need for more vagina warriors. In Eve Ensler's 2004 V-Day Vagina Warrior Statement, this is how she defined these women, and sometimes men. They are fierce, obsessed, can't be stopped and driven. They are no longer beholden to social customs or inhibited by taboos. They are not afraid to be alone, not afraid to be ridiculed or attacked. They are often willing to face anything for the safety and freedom of others. They love to dance. They are directed by vision, not ruled by ideology. They are citizens of the world. They cherish humanity over nationhood. Vagina warriors know that compassion is the deepest form of memory. They know that punishment does not make abusive people behave better. They know that it is more important to provide a space where the best can emerge rather than teaching people a lesson. Vagina warriors are done being victims. They know no one is coming to rescue them, and they would not want them to. This year, I have indeed seen vagina warriors all over this nation and other parts of the world. They march in the streets, teach in our schools, work in hospitals, wait tables, and run community centers. They've performed for you today. They are here in Syracuse. I encourage you to discover the warrior within yourself and stand up for vaginas. Stand up for the vaginas who don't have the means to stand on their own, and stand for the vaginas that look different than yours.